Seriously?
Hey people, and welcome to this video with myself, 6 Plus Stevo. So you've seen the thumbnail, you've seen the title, so you probably know where I'm headed with this one. This video is all about these guys. This guy, this is Bob, otherwise known as Clickbait Bob, Controversial Bob, Lucky Bob, and many other names besides. And he's a grot. And I pose the question, are grots crap now? Do they suck? Do they suck in 9th edition? Are they worse now than they've ever been? Are they worse now than they were in the previous edition, in 8th edition? I've got some thoughts on this. Yeah, I've got a few thoughts on this. Now, this video could have been done a long time ago because it's kind of old news now. But I've been playing a lot of games since we've sort of, I don't even want to say came out of the pandemic because that's just not the case, is it? But it's been a viable option to have games now. If you've been seeing them on the channel, I'll be popping a playlist up in that corner so you can go and check out my battle reports. I'll be doing another one later this evening actually, which will be coming up on the channel very shortly. But yeah, I've been doing battle reports, been getting games of 40k in, I've been putting the orcs on the table, and alongside my orcs I have been bringing my grots along, including Bob. Bob's always in there. So yeah, I've been using them. Now the big thing that really hurt grots, the big thing that's the thumbnail of this video, is them jumping up massively in points from 3 points per grot to 5 points a grot. There's no dressing that up. That did suck. That stung. That hurt a lot. A minimum unit of grots once cost 30 points, now costs 50 points. They are the comparison between them and orcs, it makes them a very hard choice over a squad of 10 boys, because they used to be less than half the cost of a boy, which made them a really viable option if you wanted some cheap chaff units on the table, some cheap bodies just to fill out your numbers and get you some board control, and they were great for that. Jumping up to 5 points, which is more than half the points of a boy, that really did sting, and I struggle to see many scenarios in which 20 grots would be as efficient on the table as 10 boys, with whatever task they were going to do. So yeah, let's get that out of the way right from the start. 5 points per grot, it sucks. There's no dressing it up. 4 points a grot I would have been okay with, because almost everything across the game had a big points increase. You know, some things were hit more than others. Grots probably being hardest hit in terms of percentage of their points increase, probably were the highest increase in points from a percentage standpoint. They got hurt really bad by that. But it still doesn't really answer the question, are they crap? Do they suck? Are they worse than they were in 8th? Well, I don't think so. I still think they've got a place. The bad stuff doesn't stop at the 5 points increase, because they also lost some other stuff. They lost objectives secured, which was a really strong thing that they had before. Back in 8th, when troops and things used to get objectives secured, or this is ours, Zog off. It was a fantastic ability for grots to have, because it's kind of their primary purpose. It's just to grab and hold on to rear field objectives and, you know, objectives out of the way while the orcs can get on with the job of crumping stuff. It makes perfect sense. Really useful tactical unit. And many games in 8th edition, my grots would rack up huge amounts of points holding on to objectives and things, and largely being ignored in favour of like much more juicy targets. So yeah, they jumped up to 5 points, and they lost objective secured. They also had a nerf to their armor save. Can you believe? Back in 8th edition, we got the sumptuous 6+ save, and yeah, this one they dropped it to a 7+, which yeah, that hurt them a lot too. So yeah, it's not looking good, is it? It's not looking good. They lost objective secured. They lost their armor save, and they jumped up from 3 points to 5 points. So yeah, based on that analysis, yeah, not orcs, grots are crap now. They are worse than they were in 8th edition. But are they? Are they? Some of you are still nodding, going, yes, Stevo, yes, they are. Well, I've got that. It's not all bad news. It's not all bad news. They did gain some stuff. The big thing that they gained was an increase in toughness. They jumped up from a toughness 2 to a incredibly hardy toughness 3, which really nice, very nice, very nice. Somewhat counterbalanced by the loss of the armor save, but you know, what else did they gain? They gained a special rule in which when they're in cover, they get a +1 to their armor save. Bringing them up to a 5+ armor save when in light cover, but that it doesn't really count, does it? Because they lost the save anyway. So in the last edition, if they were in cover, they would have had the 5+ save anyway. So yeah, it's a cool fluffy little rule, but does it make them better or worse? I don't think it really does anything. It's a nice little thing to have. So yeah, the little buff to their save while in cover is kind of, it doesn't really have any effect. It's a cool fluffy little rule and things, and it's all nice, but it doesn't really have an effect either way or the other. Now, the big plus though that they do get now is they still don't get clan abilities. They still don't get clan traits. That's a big thing that they had. It's been a sore point for a lot of Grot fans, and the fact that Grots don't gain any abilities from clan cultures. And yeah, don't get me wrong, some Bad Moon Grots with some little bonus pips to AP and stuff, it would be quite tasty. Yeah, it would be really, really nice. So they still don't get that, and that still kind of sucks. But they gained a lot. They did gain a lot. Do you remember in the old Codex in 8th edition where they didn't get clan abilities, they couldn't use stratagems? Remember? There was one stratagem in the Codex that they could use, and that was Grot Shield. So they could sacrifice themselves to save something else. And they could also gain access to the ones from the rulebook, like the Command Reroll, the Insane Bravery. That was a useful one for them. The Insane Bravery was a very useful one for them. And what was the other one? Interrupt Combat, which, let's face it, you were never going to use. And you were probably very unlikely to use the Command Reroll for them, unless there was a very particular sort of moment in which it was key. So, yeah, they basically had access to nothing. But to counteract that, they were dirt cheap. So it kind of balanced out. Now they're quite expensive, comparatively. And they still don't claim the clan culture benefits. But they do get access to stratagems. And that is massive. That is huge. It was so painful before not being able to use stratagems on them. Now you might be thinking, well, what's the point in using some stratagems on a little crappy unit of Grots? Well, it's not just the Grots themselves, is it? It's all the units associated with Grots. This covers things like killer cans, Grot tanks, mech guns, big guns if you're using legends, or the Grot mega tank, etc, etc, etc. There's probably some I'm forgetting or missing off. But yeah, being able to use stratagems, just off the top of my head, something that was really cool. Stick a mob of killer cans on a teleport pad and teleport them right into the enemy's face. Because killer cans are pretty tasty now in the game. Killer cans are probably in the best position they've been in for a very, very long time. So yeah, that goes some way to helping that points cost seem less harsh. It's really, really nice, and that's just one stratagem off the top of my head. The teleport pad. But then we've got other tricks in this codex. We've got things like specialist mobs. So we've got the horrible gits thing that we can put on a unit of Grots to give them the objective secured. It does have some downsides though, because it makes them really smelly and it affects even your own units, giving them a -1 to hit when they're anywhere near them. That kind of sucks, but it's kind of useful if you've got a unit of Grots out in the middle of nowhere and you plan to keep them away and just hold an objective out in the middle of nowhere. It's alright. But the big thing, the big thing that they get access to, which is huge, that I think a lot of people don't realise, because it's not really mentioned that they get it. I think a lot of this stuff sort of flew by unnoticed by a lot of people, because it doesn't specifically say, oh, Grots get access to this. It just isn't mentioned. And because you're so used to them not having access to stuff from the last codex, this is something I suffer from all the time. I've got so many old rules stuck in my head that when I read stuff, I just kind of assume that's still there, unless it's specifically stated otherwise. But then you realise that, hang on, it doesn't actually mention they can't do this. They can do this. And that's get access to the abilities from War and Speed War. Yeah, Grots get the full benefits from this stuff, which is massive. Really, really good, especially in some cases when combined with certain units. So the War, what does the War do? Ork's core and Ork's character units from your army are eligible to declare a charge even if they advance this turn. Ork's core, that is Grots. They've got the Ork's keyword, they have the core keyword, they get access to that. So Grots, during a War, first turn, they can advance and charge. Really nice. But it gets a lot better than that. Add 1 to the attacks characteristic of Orcs models from your army. All these units have the Orcs keyword. Everything in the Codex has the Orcs keyword. So that means for 2 turns during the War, your Killer Cans, your Grots, your Grot tanks, everything gets those extra attacks. It's really, really nice. And I think it's something sometimes that people forget that is pretty damn good. And it gets really good with the Speed War when you're concerning things like Killer Cans and stuff. Each time an Orc's vehicle model from your Orc army shoots with a Daka weapon, make 1 additional attack with that weapon. So Killer Cans, armed with big shooters, getting extra shots. Very, very nice. But then also, each time a model in an Orc's vehicle unit from your army makes a ranged attack, improve the armor penetration of that attack by 1. So yeah, all your Orc vehicles, Grot vehicles, this includes Grot vehicles, will gain access to that too. So getting extra AP on those shots is really, really nice. And it's part of the reason why I think Killer Cans are in a much better place now. Killer Cans used to be overcosted, underpowered, and then what really hurt them was not having access to this stuff. It still hurts that we don't get the clan trait buffs, but that's all we don't get. That's it. That's the only thing you don't get. Very important to remember that. They benefit from the War. They benefit from the Speed War. And yeah, it's really, really quite nice. It is really nice. So, how do we answer this question? Do Grots suck now? No. I don't think they do. I've been using them, as I said, in many, many games, which you can still check in that link. And down in the description below, maybe I'll put something, but check the playlist to go and watch them battle reports. They've still served very much the same purpose for me. Largely, my Grots just grab objectives, get in the way, and just sort of do their thing and go and hold objectives and usually try and keep themselves out of trouble. Killer Cans have been performing very well for the most part. They have their little moments. But yeah, I think the Grot units are doing very well. And it's very easy to be sort of lost in that 5 points. And the loss of armor save and the loss of objective secured, and think, oh god, they just suck. What's the point in them? Because it did feel for a while, and I was very much guilty of this myself. I was very much on the side of it sucks that they've nerfed the hell out of them and jumped up their points. Like, what the hell did Grots do to deserve that? Poor little Bob. But I think it is not as bad as we first thought, because benefiting from Wars, benefiting from Speed Wars, and being able to do things like that is really quite cool. is really cool, and benefiting from the stratagems as well. That's huge. That is huge. That's really nice being able to use stratagems on some of these key units that we can have some real fun with now, and just opens them up to so much more. The specialist mobs, not the specialist mobs, the custom jobs is a bit annoying, because like all these units you have to use them in mobs, and with the custom jobs you can only put it on a singular vehicle, which is a real shame. It would be lovely to put like a custom job, like Stompomatic pistons on a unit of killer cans, for example. That would be really cool. I'd love to see them sort of tweak that and be able to let us do that in the future. That would be very nice. But yeah, there you go, guys. There you go. This is my second time recording this video, because I actually recorded it last night and was reasonably happy with what I did. But I realised that I'd left my mic turned off throughout the whole thing, so it was just it was like a silent film. I suppose I could have uploaded that, and you could have just inserted your own sort of thought-provoking, deeply intelligent, discussion-based video, like audio, over that, and just insert the occasional witty, charismatic remark. But yeah, hopefully this one is just as good as what I said last night. We'll never know, because no one can hear it. But yeah, hopefully everything's worked out on this one. But guys, I would love to hear your thoughts on this. So personally, I think Grots are actually overall in a pretty good place right now in this codex compared to the last codex. Now that's not excusing the points. I would still much rather they were 4 points. I do still think they're overcosted. But do they still serve a purpose? Do they still help me win games? Are they still a very important part of my army? Yes, they are. So yeah, I think I think gaining access to stratagems and wars and things is a really big gain. It really is. But I would love to hear your thoughts on it. Maybe there's some things that I haven't thought of. Maybe there's some, there's some cases that you can put forward, and just yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. What do you think of Grots? Have you been playing with them? Do you find them better or worse than they used to be? And do you think they still serve as purpose? And what do you think about how they're costed? Do you think it's fair? Get chatting in the comment section below. Keep it respectful, please, because I know these things can get quite heated sometimes. You can be as disrespectful to me as you like, but just to everyone else in the comment section, if someone's disagreeing with your opinion, you can talk things over. You don't have to agree. It's fine. Now, if you like this video, give it one of them. If you don't like it, give it one of them. It's fine, because no one can see them anymore, because apparently YouTubers are really sensitive people now and they don't like seeing that. I don't know. But yeah, check out links down in the description below for other Ork channels. Some really good ones out there. I'd highly recommend you go and check them out. There's a link to Patreon down there. There is a link to Goblin Gaming, a UK site that sells GW stuff and other stuff at knockdown prices. You can get on there using my affiliate link, save yourself some money and help support the channel, so everyone wins. But yeah, for now guys, this is 6+ Stevo and Bob signing out.